Culture shock. We always hear most of the people talking about culture shock, most especially those who are coming from the West. So, what is culture shock? So, we're going to talk about it today. So, welcome to Block 929. My name is Ted. If it's your first time to visit our channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. So, let's get started. Yes, it's true. When you come to Africa, one of the hurdles you're going to face is to actually blend in with the culture. Um, in Africa, things are done totally different to the way things are done in the West. So if it's your first time to come to Africa, there is a lot of things that you're going to experience. And one of the most exciting experience you're going to get is driving on the roads of Africa, more especially here in Malawi. Uh, people go get driver's license. They do the lessons to get a driver's license. They are taught everything that they're supposed to do on the road. But once they get on the road, they don't do what they are supposed to do. They don't do what is required as a driver to do. And one thing that you will notice is that people don't have respect for one another on the roads. Um, for myself, I learned my driving from South Africa, and in South Africa, it's very easy for anybody to drive because most of the people who are driving on the road, they are actually abiding by the rules on the roads. When you come to a four-way stop, it's always the first, they've got the rule of first come, first serve. So if you're the first one to be at the stop there, you'll be the first one to have a right of way. And it just happens automatically. But when you come to Malawi, there's no such thing. You know, you might be the third person to be to be found on the stop on the four-way, but you might be forcing yourself to be the first one to leave the four-way. And quite often we find that in instances when there's a jam, a traffic jam at the four-way or roundabout, it's always because everybody wants to be the first person to leave the roundabout, or to leave the four-way. People don't follow the rules of saying, okay, I found this person here and let the person pass. And sometimes you find that there's a traffic jam, and at the bottom of the road, there's a traffic officer who's trying to control the vehicles. But in the traffic jam that you are in, there's also another road intersecting into this road, which goes through to the other side. And there's somebody who's just standing there stuck. He wants to go through to go to the other side, but because of this traffic jam on this lane, he's failing to pass through. And you might find that there are instances where there's a little bit of a gap that person could have gone, but this guy who's driving here will accelerate his car to close that gap. And sometimes you ask yourself, why is that person doing that? Because if that person allowed that other person to go through, he would have just lost about 2 seconds, and those 2 3 seconds would have meant that he would still be behind that the vehicle that was in front of him. And why are you closing the gap to let this guy who's been standing there for like maybe 20 minutes because he can't find his way to go through? It's that I find it very difficult to understand. And you'll find that the person who's closing that gap, he actually looks at you all in a way like saying, I got you. I'm not going to allow you to go through. And I don't understand why people do this. And sometimes the guy in front of you is driving very slow and you are rushing somewhere, so you want to overtake him. So the moment you start overtaking, you find that the person is also revving his car, He's revving his car, trying to make it difficult for you to overtake. I don't understand. There will be some instances where this person is driving in front of you, driving very slow, and he knows that you want to overtake, but now he's always blocking your way so that you mustn't overtake him. Why do people do these things? Nobody knows, but that's what you're going to face in Africa. So that's part of the culture shock that we're talking about, whereby you go even to a shop to buy something, you find that the person has got shoes and everything in the shop, but they don't put prices. Why they don't put prices, I don't know. Even like, yeah, when people are selling cars, you will find that the next to the road, a person has put their car for sale. There's a lot of cars being sold, but none of the vehicles has got prices on them. But if you go like in South Africa, you find that when cars are being sold, they will be like saying car for sale with the amount there, 45,000 rands, 120,000 rands. So as you are driving by, you can see the price of the vehicle that is being sold. But when you come this side, no prices. Why? Because the price sometimes is determined by the way you look. So if you're looking decent, you come there to ask the price of the car in a Range Rover, automatically the price of this car that they're selling goes higher. The same in the shop also. The way you look, you'll get a different price. So yeah, that's Africa, culture shock. And also like in our days when we were young, they people used to do, the acts of generosity, like they will give you something, they will, you cook something, you take it to the neighbor and you share with the people to the neighbor. Nowadays, these are things are not quite often. So you will find that when you have some people working for you and you want to look after them, so for example, you give them gifts and all those kind of things, those people who are working for you, they don't interpret it as an act of generosity. They think that you're doing that because you want to get something out of them. It's very, very strange how people are thinking nowadays. So so they will be thinking that maybe they are so special that you don't want them to leave, that's why you're giving them those gifts, or that's why you're looking after them. They don't even think that they can be somebody who can just be so kind enough just to help the other person. So every time you try to lend a hand to somebody in Africa, they get suspicious because they are thinking maybe there's something that you want, something that you want to gain behind. There's something behind it. I remember one day my wife, there was a lady who always comes and sells vegetables to us. And she felt sorry for this woman. And one day she just collected some of her old clothes and put them in a bag. And when this woman came and she said, I've got these clothes for you, you can have them. The woman couldn't take the clothes. She was afraid to take them, because they're thinking lots of superstitious things that they're thinking. Why would somebody just give me clothes? So it's very difficult nowadays to be generous to some other people because then they don't take it as something that is genuine. They think that there's a hidden agenda behind it. So when we talk about the culture shock, that's what we're talking about. The other thing is also appointments. In the West, if you agree with somebody to say, okay, we're going to meet at 9 o'clock, you will find that in the West, most of the people, they will be there 9:15. Not in Africa. 9 o'clock means 12 o'clock. A person can be late for 2 hours. And, like here in Malawi, when we have functions, most of the times, the people who organize functions, they say there's going to be a seminar or a meeting or whatsoever. If they want the meeting to be at 9 o'clock, they will tell the people that the meeting must be maybe 8 o'clock or 7:30. But they know that it's going to be 9 o'clock because they know if they say 9 o'clock, the first person to drop in there at the meeting is going to come maybe at 9:30, sometimes at 10 o'clock. And you find that people like myself, if we are told that 9 o'clock, I'm always there. If I'm in a traffic or I'm traveling and I'm 10 minutes behind, I'm 10 minutes before the time, I'll be like feeling stressed. I'm going to be late. It's just a seminar or a meeting. I'm going to be late. I want to be there in time. But you get there sometimes, if it was 9 o'clock, you get there 5 minutes to 9, you sit in there, but then you find that the meeting starts at 10 o'clock because then they're saying, oh, we have to wait for other people who are late and all those kind of things. So yeah, in Africa. So you have to get used to these kind of things because if you can't get used to them, you will find that life is going to be very frustrating. And then we have the lies. People telling lies. Sometimes people in Africa, they will just tell you a lie just for the fun of it. You'll find that you're sitting in a taxi or minibus, and there's a lot of people there, and one person gets a phone call, and then they're asking the person, "Where are you?" He'll be telling you that I'm in area 25. You answer on the phone and say, "I'm in area 25." In the meantime, he's in area 18, and you find that the people in the minibus, they don't even look surprised that this guy is literally lying, because it's normal nowadays. That's Africa. And I remember there was a time I was in South Africa, and we were in a minibus. And in that minibus, there was a Zimbabwean who was also in that minibus. And then he got a phone call, and somebody on the other side was asking him where he was. And we were in Greenpoint at that time. So the guy was telling a lie that he was in CBD. And when this guy put off this phone, a lot of people attacked him, and they say, "Why are you telling lies? Why did you tell that person? Why didn't you just tell the truth?" And the person was just so quiet. They was very embarrassed. When he got out of the minibus, and people were still discussing about this lie this guy was talking about. And to me, when I was listening to this, I said, in my country, nobody would have bothered about this guy is telling a lie, because it's normal that people don't tell the truth. And there's been times when I travel with these guys, when I hire them with the truck, and they get a phone call and they tell a lie. I ask them, "Why did you tell the person a lie?" He says, "But I can't tell the truth, because if I tell him the truth, he's going to be disappointed." So I said, "But now it's more disappointing when you tell a lie than when you tell the truth. It's better to tell the truth, and the person gets disappointed, but it's the truth. But now you're telling a lie. You're telling a person you will be there in 5 minutes, but you know that you're going to be there in 1 hour." But that's the way it is. Some people, they feel if they tell the truth, they actually feel that they've lost. Why did I just tell the truth? They just want to tell a lie. And this is something that you're going to face here in Africa, and it's very, very common. Yeah, so even in business, sometimes people will just tell you a lie just for the fun of it. And for me, because I left, Malawi in those days, when we left, telling a lie was actually an abomination. So 15 years later, when I came back, everybody was telling lies. In South Africa, you will get fired for telling a lie. You know, Even if it's a small lie. If you're driving in a vehicle and your boss sees you and phones you and says, "Ted, where are you?" and you tell a lie, you will get dismissed right away. You lose your job, because lying is regarded as gross insubordination. So yeah, so I just wanted to talk about culture shock, because some people who are in diaspora, when they hear about culture shock, they don't understand what are people talking about when they say culture shock. Yeah, the culture shock is, when you come to Africa, you find that life there is different. People behave differently. Things that you find to be uh, out of place in the West, in Africa, those things are normal. It's like part of life. Yeah. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share. Tell me what you think about this subject. Thank you. Good day, everybody. Welcome to Block 929. My name is Ted. Um, if it's your first time to visit our channel, I'll ask you to subscribe, share the video, like, and leave a comment. Don't forget to comment. Today I'm going to talk about culture shock. We always hear people um, talking about when you come to Africa, you will experience what they call culture shock. So, what is culture shock? So, in this video, we're going to talk about that. So, let's start. Let's Welcome to Block 929. My name is Ted. Today I'm talking about culture shock. Most of the times we always hear people talking about when people are coming from West Africa,